What is up, everyone? My name's Conrad, and today I've got another interesting deck to show you guys. Now, before I start explaining the deck, I will go ahead and say that this is a deck created by Swim, essentially. There's a few tweaks I've done myself, but I noticed the video by Swim a few days ago with this deck, and it really opened my eyes to what looked like a very fun deck to play. Well, maybe not to verse against, but we'll get to that hopefully. We'll see how it goes. So just wanted to say the difference between my version and Swim's. So Swim, you'll note, uses John Calvier, which I've decided to swap for Emhyr. Now the reason being is that what do you value more, a decoy ability or the ability to thin? Now this question is not necessarily going to have an answer that's, you know, set in stone. I think both ways, you know, have a merit to it, but I prefer the Emhyr version just because Emhyr can be thinning as well, because you can simply bounce a Vicavario Novice as well, and you can thin through bronzes, just as long as you have Frangilla Vigo already in your hand, perhaps, or some other way to get her. So the risk is with Emhyr, the Emhyr version, is that you don't always get the cards you need as often as perhaps the John Calvier version would, but the benefit would be is that it is a lot more greedier, even greedier than an already greedy deck, because of course you can bounce Frangilla and perhaps, you know, swap over a 40 unit twice, just to add to the absurdity, and also you can swap the combat engineers just to give another unit the resilience for the next turn. So I really like having the extra decoy, and because you're running the Emhyr, obviously you can get the third decoy ability with Cohere. So yeah, it's interesting, and if you want to know how the deck works, I probably recommend go ahead and checking out Swim's video, just because this is his deck and I don't really want to take credit for it. So I'll put a link to that one in the description. But yeah, we'll see how my variant goes in a few games. Also, you'll note that I've got pikemen here instead of in Swim's version he sort of had the Imperial Golems. Now I like the pikemen better just because, you know, the Golems don't really go well with Emhyr, because we don't really want to be using him straight away. But we still do want to use him in the first turn, so Imperial Golems wouldn't be super bad, but I also don't like them clogging up my emissary options, so I've decided to go with the pikemen. Anyway, we'll jump into some games and see how it goes. Okay, so we're going into our first game.
You've got the heart of a
Crack on crate, that doesn't surprise me.
The North shall tuck tail and beg for mercy.
Now, as long as he's not running some sort of Gerald Igni or Scorch-like effect, then we should probably be okay. We'll get rid of some of the ambassadors. We'll usually pull those through emissaries. So we got one of the novices, which is good, because if we can get the operator, then we can copy him, which is super useful. We'll get rid of the pikeman. We'll be getting to him with the emissaries. We'll probably scrap the Imperial Brigade here. Okay, good. So we got a way to get to our operator, which we can copy our novice with, which is awesome. Now usually you've got to make sure that Cantarella is in your hand if you want to pull the operator with Azure, so we've got her, so that's good. So we'll go ahead and start with that. Now I notice in Swim's gameplay he likes to force them to pass, but I think people have learnt already just through his video not to be giving people rounds so much in the first turn. So they've caught on, so if he decides to give us the round early, once we play Cantrellon later on, then that'll be good, but I don't really want to just play her outright and make it obvious that I'm going for that all-in cheese. So if you don't know, I should have probably explained in the description, but this deck's about not passing at all and getting that huge carryover and then eating it up with Letho. So hopefully we can showcase that. Now, it's important to note that you generally want to thin your deck of the bronzes before you play Cantarella, just so she has a better chance of giving you good options. And I think that's what we'll do in this case. So we'll start with some Emissary.
Please wait, Your Excellency. I'm falling behind.
So we'll pull out the pikeman early. It's good to get him off as soon as possible, just so you get the turn sticking. Hopefully he doesn't shield maiden them. But generally they like to save shield maidens to the last turn. Frost. Okay, that's fine. Now we can technically clear that, but that frost is not really much of a threat to our game plan. The only real threat is scorches and that sort of effect. So we're not going to waste a stand berry out, just in case he frosts the back row, which would be much more of a pain. So we'll go ahead and play a novice now.
That was not in the spellbooks.
Okay, Ambassador the novice.
Burak.
Now most times you'll be buffing up the novice in the back row just because you have more units in the back. So he's playing Axeman. Okay, so it's looking more like we should having to be clearing this frost. And we've got lots of bounces, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll place the biggest unit on the far left, just in case we end up having to using Frangilla on the front row rather than the back. And we'll buff up the novice. Now it's probably obvious to him what we're playing now. Okay. So we're not going to be greedy. We're going to go ahead. I don't know if we should clear it. One of them dies, so that he's only getting 2 ticks per turn. I'm going to not clear it yet. I'll consider it once he gets to 1.
Let us see.
Cool, that's a good pick. Now we can definitely go ahead and reuse the standard bearer. Okay, so he's chosen to eat our Imperial Gate. That's not much of a problem. So we're going to be bouncing. I suppose it doesn't really matter which way we do it.
As you wish.
Cool. That bear is doing absolute work. So it's looking like he hopefully won't have a Igni.
Your humble servant.
At this point, I don't think we can play around even if we
Of course,
have the
as you wish,
choice.
master.
I'm going to pull out a combat engineer now.
Barbarians.
Just because he stays alive, whereas the novice don't.
Now! All together!
Okay.
Please wait, Your Excellency. I'm falling behind.
Of
course, as you wish, master.
We'll need that last combat engineer, or... We're gonna ambassador first. Just so that if I go ahead and give this guy resilience, he might be able to kill it, so we'll definitely not do that. We'll wait till we swap it over before we give this guy resilience.
Keep together!
That hurts us a lot. Unless he decides not to kill this one, which would be a big mistake. Okay, he knows, good. What? He didn't kill the combat engineer. So that was probably a misplay by him. So at this point, we can't really play around Igni, so we're just going to have to go all in. We'll be saving this last novice, just to get out the combat engineer. Okay, cool. Okay.
Of course, as you wish, master.
Barbarians.
Okay, we'll go ahead and use Rainfarm to pull out Frangilla.
Do not assume you can order me around.
Of course, my lord.
Okay, we're just going to double check and see what we get of the last wish here, just because it's not going to be useful in the next turn. Oh, we'll definitely be getting the decoy, that's all we've got left, so that's pretty good. Unfortunately, we don't have any novices to decoy. But you can use it to get extra extra resilient unit, I believe is the best choice of action. So we'll buff her to 9 first, and then we'll give her resilience. No, we can't do that, sorry. Emhyr's not going to be useful at all, but there's nothing really to swap, unfortunately. Well, he will be a 4-body, so that's useful.
Stench.
Okay. Guaranteed to get Litho now, which is super cool.
And I'll behave, I promise.
Now we'll be using Emhyr this turn. Just because if I wait to use him next turn, he'll have the extra card, so we want to win this turn if we can. If we can't win this turn, then we're not going to win it also. Luckily for us, the X-Men aren't very threatening when there's only gold units on the board. So, in case he has lock, we're just going to go ahead and put him in the different lane, you know, just to play around Biting
There is
Frost.
but one
In a
punishment
very
for
odd
traitors.
scenario that he has it, has locks and Biting Frost. So as you can see, even though we're not John Calvert, we can still get through our whole deck, which we definitely did that game.
He is here.
Okay, that's actually not super great for us. Perhaps I should have... that's just going to give him frost targets, but that's unfortunate. Okay, so can he top 89? There's that Binding Frost. Now if he has a lock here, he'll probably definitely win. There's the lock. So it turned out good to play around the Binding Frost, but
The goddess protect you from all
I don't think it will matter, hopefully.
Burak!
That's actually some good counterplay he's got going.
Now, how did that incantation go?
He's giving it a valiant effort, I'll give him that. And we'll be taking this game. But it was a good one. He played it well. Good game.